Development phase, in layman terms, is really a long negotiation phase. We would be focusing on 4 areas, starting with design, which is the foundation for the next 3, which is risk, schedule, and cost. The reason for the development phase to take longer than what we had anticipated, we had mentioned 12 months, we're now indicating 16, is primarily for design. Design is a foundation for us to be able to identify risks, quantify them. Likewise, design is the foundation for us to have a good understanding of how we would stage the construction or sequence it, which will then get into schedule. And then finally, design is the basis for costing. So we want to make sure that we have enough time to be able to have strong certainty on all those metrics, which is risk, schedule, and cost. After the development phase, we will move into the main implementation phase. Construction is already underway, but at that point, once we're completed at the end of the 16 months, the same team who's doing the design and negotiations with us during the development phase become our project partners. They will actually then do the construction of the project. Because we're in development phase, it's hard for me to say an ETA at this point. The whole intent is to negotiate that schedule with them over the next 16 months and refine it. But it's fair to say, as we have shared in the past, that a project of this scale, you're looking at roughly 6 years. But we don't want to prescribe that time frame. We want to make sure that we look at a very realistic schedule that's developed between us and our partners. We'll cross the Bow River as part of Phase 2. Some of you may remember when Council created the board and established a mandate for them, one of the requirements was to first conclude on Phase 1. And once you know what sort of funds are remaining after Phase 1 has been concluded, then a decision on Phase 2 can be made. So our focus would be on these 16 months to come to a successful conclusion on Phase 1. And at that point, we would be ready to have a dialogue with our board and subsequently with the city to start considering what steps can be taken for Phase 2, which would be crossing the Bow River to go north. As we have discussed numerous times, construction, from my perspective, is already underway. The city has already invested over between $200 to $300 million in improving and replacing and removing utilities. But if we're specifically just looking for the LRT construction, it's fair to say it will begin at the end of the 16 months for development phase, which is currently planned for late Q2, early Q3 of 2024. Can we save money to go north? It's a possibility. Right now, our objective is to make sure that we have a very good and sound deal for Calgarians on Phase 1. Once we have completed that phase, we will know how much funds we have to move forward with Phase 2.